of my lesson today is to give you a little bit of background on what we've been doing in Shurley. Shurley is a way of classifying sentences so that we can go ahead and find the important parts of a sentence and make sure we have a complete sentence. So if we take a look here, we're going to take a look at this example number 5. The red candles burn brightly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first take you through an example sentence flow like we would be doing in class. So, the red candles burn brightly. What burn brightly? Candles. Subject, noun. What is being said about candles? Candles burn. Verb. Burned how? Brightly. Adverb. What kind of candles? Red. Adjective. The article adjective. Subject, noun, verb, pattern, one, check. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb and divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. Let me go ahead and do another example for you. Let's choose blue this time. The happy children shouted loudly. Who shouted loudly? Children. Subject, noun. What is being said about children? Children shouted. Verb. Shouted how? Loudly. Adverb. What kind of children? Happy. Adjective. The article adjective. Subject, noun, verb, pattern, one, check. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb and divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. So if we take a look here, what this does is it locates our noun, which is the subject of the sentence. It locates our verb, which is the simple predicate of the sentence. It then allows us to find adjectives that describe the noun and adverbs which describe the verb. We also find article adjectives and what type of sentence it is. In this case, they're statements, so they're a declarative sentence. The pattern one check is basically later on in Shurley, we're going to have different patterns. So for right now, for this year, all we need to worry about is subject, noun, verb, pattern one check. That is it. Now, when we locate adverbs, we always say the verb first, and then we go ahead and we say a question afterwards. So with our adverbs, we can ask one of three questions. How, where, or when. So in this case, shouted how loudly. Let's say I changed it to there. Doesn't work very well for it, but it'll give you the idea. I would say shouted where. Well, there. That answers that question. Or let's say I change it to yesterday. Another adverb. Not very neatly written, but you get the idea. Shouted when? Yesterday. Adverb. So that helps me describe my adverbs. Now, taking a look at our adjectives, we have three questions that we can ask about adjectives. We can either ask what kind, which one, or how many. For this case, we have happy, so I would ask what kind of children? What kind of children? Happy. Adjective. Now, let's say I had that child. It doesn't really work with the, but I would say which child? That child. Adjective. Or I could go ahead and say the 5 children. And I would say how many children? 5. Adjective. It's a way of helping classify these. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at a larger example that we may have. So let's close this out and switch over to my other worksheet here. Okay. So our first sentence, one tiny gray kitten jumped playfully today. So if we look first, our nouns that we have here, we have kitten and our verb is jumped. Now we can go ahead and see that. How did they jump? They jumped playfully. Playfully describes that, and today describes when they jumped. So there's our two questions. We have how they jumped and when they jumped, and that'll work with our sentence flow in a little bit. Now if we look at our adjectives here, we have gray. So what kind of kitten is it? It's a gray, so there's what kind. What kind of kitten? It's tiny, describes kitten. And then 1, how many kittens? That describes the number of it. So they all go back and describe the noun, as you can see. So after you've seen that, let's go ahead and let me classify this for you. So, 1 tiny gray kitten jumped playfully today. What jumped playfully today? Kitten. Subject noun. What is being said about kitten? Kitten jumped. Verb. Jumped how? Playfully. Adverb. Jumped when? Today. Adverb. What kind of kitten? Gray. Adjective. What kind of kitten? Tiny. Adjective. How many kittens? 1. Adjective. Subject noun, verb, pattern 1, check. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb and divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. So as you can see, for the flow here, we figure out our noun first, and then we figure out our verb. Then what we do is we classify all the way to the end. We work on classifying our adjectives to adverbs, back to our verbs. Once we get done here, then we jump back here and we work the opposite way. This allows us to make sure that our adjectives match up with our nouns. When we're all done with that, we've got everything classified. We go back to see that we have a subject noun, a verb, and then we say that it's a pattern 1 check. And then we move all the way back here so we can tell what kind of sentence it is. In this case, it's a statement, so it's a declarative sentence. And then the last thing we want to do is divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. So now that you have your brain wrapped around that, let's go ahead and pause the video and see if you can classify this. And hit play when you're ready to check it. Okay, so maybe you did it, maybe you just let the video play. Either way, let's try classifying this together, and we'll go with green. Several new red sleds raced merrily along. What raced merrily along? Sleds. Subject noun. What is being said about sleds? Sleds raced. Verb. Raced how? Merrily. Adverb. Raced where? Along. Adverb. What kind of sleds? Red. Adjective. What kind of sleds? New. Adjective. How many sleds? Several. Adjective. Subject noun, verb, pattern 1, check. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb and divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. So my question is, did anybody get tripped up on the fact that several was how many sleds? Something you've just got to be very careful on as you're working with that. So, if I could find the tool I'm looking for. Nope, can't do it. So I can't draw a smiley face. So we'll go ahead and we'll do this instead, since you did such a great job of classifying that yourself. So, what you can do is try helping your students at home with this. Have them show you. Take similar sentences. Take sentences that they may bring home on worksheets and have them see if they're able to solve these types of sentences as well. And have them show you. It's a really cool thing, and we'll be adding a lot more. So one that you can have them try is right down here. All the frightened animals ran quickly away. See if you can go ahead and classify this one, and we'll see you next time.